Hello Pisces, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Pisces is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free, it doesn't cost you anything. If there's anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Pisces, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And a 5 of Wands to start us off today. Now, this is a question of intensity, right? I feel like there's a situation that you're involved with now where there's almost this need for you to really make a decision, to assert yourself, to kind of, to engage, right? But it's about learning the proper measure, the proper response. Now, we're going to put this into some context and see where does this fire energy really need to go. This is the card called Strife, right? This is the card about fighting, right? Now, is this someone that is bringing the fight to you? Or is this card saying that you need to stand up and fight for something right now? Well, that's what these other cards are hopefully going to tell us, so let's take a look. We've got... Oh, okay. We've got a 10 of Cups. My first thought is there is a house guest that just won't leave, right? We've got the 8 of Pentacles. We've got an 8 of Wands as well. A 3 of Wands. I see a lot of fire already. I feel like you're really trying to do the right thing. You're trying to be like a really, stand-up person and have a lot of integrity, a lot of character. But this is something that just won't get out of your life. And yeah, see, then we've got an ace. This is something where you're kind of ready to like clean up after the get together, but there are some guests that are still lingering, and you're trying to figure out a polite way to say, "Hey, get the heck out of here." Right? We've got the Lover's card. We've got the Devil card, 4 of Cups, and more water with a Queen of Cups. This could be a situation with in-laws even. This could be some family members. I kind of get an in-law vibe here. That someone is just kind of imposing on your hospitality, right? And, I guess the holidays are coming up. It's the kind of spring now. It's the first stirrings of life here with the springtime, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere. So I feel like there is this, just an aura of bounty, of plenty, of sharing, of family, of celebration, of new life, and of gatherings. And but I feel like someone's kind of overstepping their boundaries. Somebody's being a little bit too familiar with you, right? And so with the fire energy that we see, it's like we've got fire, 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 then we've got water, water, water. Okay? So you're trying to figure out the best way to really tell this person that it's time to hit the road. Yeah. We do have some major arcana cards here, especially with the Lover's card. It does feel like a family thing. It literally may be your spouse's family, right? So your in-laws. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot, or as I like to call it, the Pamela Coleman Smith Tarot. And we're going to set this right here. We're going to put Tiny Bob Ross right there on top. I almost called him Lazy Bob Ross. I don't know why I was going to say that. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, right? Probably because he has the easiest job in the room here today. That card will give us our confirmation at the end of the reading. If you feel like you know what that card is, or you have a hunch or a feeling about it, put that down in the comments. Let's exercise our intuition. It's like a muscle. We got to use it or lose it. All right. Let's take a look around the room again. We've got these 2 major arcana cards. And then, of course, we have 3 fire, we've got 3 water, we got a pair of earth. What we don't see is the air energy, right? Fire and water and earth and the major arcana cards. The air energy that we do have is hidden inside of this Lover's card because this is the Gemini power card, right? So Pisces, I feel like there is there's somebody with you. There's a partner. There's a spouse. There's a friend, a confidant. There's like your sibling or something. There's someone that you're very close with. That you're talking to them about it, but you're not talking to this other Queen of Cups up here. This person, whoever this is going to be, which could again be a family member, could be an in-law, it could be that house guest, that friend. It could be someone at work. We're using the metaphor of a house guest that just won't leave, but this really could be in any circumstance. It could be someone at work. It could be a boss or a coworker that just keeps coming into your space and trying to take over, or just trying to just kind of sit behind you and chit-chat when you're trying to do your work, right? Is getting too familiar, is treating things like it's their own domain, but this is your castle. This is your cubicle, right? This is your space. And so I see that we're talking to our significant other, friend, family member, another coworker, a best friend, a confidant. But we're not, there's no swords cards. We're not talking directly to this person that that needs to have, there needs to be a conversation there. So maybe the mystery card will be a little bit of air energy, because I feel like we do have to get this conversation rolling. The Five of Wands that we started with is it's the need for you to kind of stand up for yourself and bring this to a conclusion. I think right now it's just kind of nothing's being done yet. We're just kind of allowing it to happen. We're just kind of smiling through it. And then when they leave, we're turning to our best friend and saying, I can't stand that person, right? And we can't continue on that way forever, right? Because that puts us at a real disadvantage. And if it's a work thing too, then this person comes and they just try to, chit-chat with you all day long. It makes you look bad, makes you look like you're not doing the work, but it's just like, I can't get rid of that person, right? So we've got to figure out what to do in this situation. And I think that it has the potential to really get serious if we don't do something about this, especially if it's an in-law situation. If it's, the Queen of Cups, could be mother-in-law. And it feels like if we don't do something now, this is going to be an energy, a pattern. This is going to be a Tao of things that just sets in. The longer it lingers, the harder it's going to be to change things, because that person's going to get used to that familiarity. Is going to get used to being in that groove of energy, of being able to kind of tell you what to do or tell you how you should be doing things, right? Nothing worse than you're washing the dishes and then someone comes in and says, you're doing that wrong, And so I feel there's some frustration that's growing in you. Yeah. Maybe not related. Spirits tell me that there's a lot of alcohol involved somewhere. I don't know if that person's a drinker, if you're the drinker, but that's not going to help anything, right? That's not going to make anything any better. And it could really be that this energy really comes out most when there is alcohol involved, right? But I feel like you're starting to get this frustration about it, and we realize that it is time to do something. But what do we do? That's what you've got to figure out. It's the proper measure. We don't want to go too forced. We don't want to let this linger so long and build up that it just explodes. I'm thankful we don't have a Tower card. Maybe I jinxed the mystery card by calling out the Tower. I hope it's not. I kind of want to peek, but I'm not going to. The Eight of Wands here in the background. See, we've got two eights. We've got the Eight of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles, and both of these are two different energies. But they're both kind of saying something needs to be done, but what do I do? This is an attention to detail. This is problem solving that's very creative, but there's also a lot of kind of options. It's like there's this growing anxiety again. And this is us taking the time to really make sure that the way we approach a situation is going to be perceived the way we intend it to be perceived. See, the light here, that fire energy is going through that prism. And that prism is going to refract the light, and whatever it does, changes the colors and the shapes and whatever. And so it's not going to be perceived the way it was intended. And this is kind of maybe what you've tried in the past. Maybe you've tried different things and it never translates right. It's always either misunderstood or they just don't get it, or maybe they're willfully ignorant, maybe they're intentionally interpreting it wrong, or twisting things around, or gaslighting you, or, there's a need for us to be crystal clear and direct, which this card is not. Okay? This card is not crystal clear and direct right now. And I think that in the past there have been things that we have tried, maybe with this person, but maybe just in other situations, where our actions and our words and things have been kind of grossly misinterpreted, right? And maybe even got us in trouble a little bit. Like we've got to make sure that what we do is very direct and very, very clear. And of course, the Eight of Pentacles is a similar thing to that. We want things to go our way, right? This tells me that this is more than likely this is somebody in your home or somebody in your workspace, okay? Because I feel that there is really this idea of territory. Like this feels like it's your place. It's your kind of personal space, and they're crossing some sort of boundaries, right? And we have a certain way that we like to have things arranged, and it feels like they're coming in and rearranging things. Maybe literally, maybe not literally. Okay, that could be a metaphor. So I feel like there is really this need for you to put everything back in order, like put things back in their place, put that person back in their place, maybe put your routine back in its place. It does feel like when they do come in, it throws you off of your routine. You have this way of, doing the dishes and cleaning the kitchen, and they come in and they start doing things their own way, and it kind of interferes with what you've got going on with your routine. It's your home, it's your space. And so the Five of Wands is a little bit of the disorder of that. Okay? And the 10 of Cups is very interesting because this is not someone with whom you have any bad blood. There's no animosity there. There's on the contrary, I feel like there's a lot of love. I feel like this is probably a family thing more than anything. And you care for this person, you love this person. At the same time, it's kind of like, okay, it's time for you to go. Like and how do we say that in a nice way? Any particular way that you say it is going to be received poorly by the other party. Okay. So the 10 is usually, we think of it as completion. We think of it as the celebration, the dream come true, the happy, perfect life. Yeah, this is like that dinner party that is just flawless. It was such an amazing party. But then there's a couple guests that just won't leave. And it's like, hey, come on. You're kind of ruining a good thing. You're staying too long. The party's already over. Let's all remember it in such a great way. It's like somebody comes in and stays with you for the holidays. Well, now we're in, the holidays are over, and it's like months have gone by, and they're still there, like they've got their bathrobe and their slippers on. It's like, wait a minute, we had an amazing time over the holidays, but it's time to get back to our routines, our normal lives, So we're ready for this 10 to really be over, because the longer it stays, it just starts to decay. There's no 11 of Cups, there's no 12 of Cups. It just starts to ruin the good, perfect, the perfect finale of what we have done. Yeah. And that is really expressed here perfectly with that ace of the Ace of Pentacles coming next. So it's saying, yeah, it's time to step. It's time to go. It's time to make that fresh start. It's time to hit the road and take that journey and get on with it. The Three of Wands up here, though, you're a person of integrity. You don't want to hurt feelings. You don't want to be misunderstood, but at the same time, you've got to stand up for your domain, either your cubicle, your office, your business, or your home, your space. And it's not an easy thing to do, is it? But I think if we're prepared, if we understand what's going on, we see the energies involved, and then we can approach this in the right way. Okay. But this is definitely your integrity. Okay, you want to do the right thing. You want to do something where once you act in this way, your heart will feel good about it, your mind will be at ease, and that's your own internal gauge of your behavior, right? Because you have character, you have integrity, right? Let's go to the path of the serpent. The first card we see is the Lover's card. So the first thing I think of is talk to your spouse about it, or talk to your coworker, or maybe the manager, or speak. You don't have to necessarily speak with this person directly, and maybe this is really the key to it. Is speaking with, instead, if it's a mother-in-law, speak with your spouse, right? Have them deal with it. Kind of go around the issue by just speaking to this person directly. The Lover's card here, it's not always about a romantic relationship, but it could be. I feel like this is the choice that you make. This is also really the commitment that you've made, where you kind of say to yourself, this is my space, and maybe some feelings are going to get hurt, but something needs to change. So you have to really commit to what you want. And that's why this is the Lover's card. This is that marriage. You're marrying yourself to your decision. You're choosing something, and you're committing to it. Okay, just like a marriage, like is depicted in this card. And you're committing to it, right? And for better or for worse, yeah? So even if things kind of get a little messy, even if we do get a Tower card, you have to stay strong. You have to stick to your guns about this. And if it does mean that you have to talk to a manager, supervisor, talk to the boss, talk to your spouse, do what you have to do, because this is your space. Right? And the longer you allow this pattern of behavior to repeat, the more difficult it's going to be to get out of it, to break the habit. And the more, now for some reason I'm getting a picture of your dog. I don't know why. Because it kind of reminds me of that. The more the dog kind of imprints on a certain piece of furniture or a certain spot on the carpet, you know what I mean? It's harder to get them to stop, right? Maybe this is about the dog. I don't know. So anyway, the next card, we've got that Devil card. The Devil card's in the environment. Now, the first thing I think of is this is really taking a lot of time away from what you really should be doing, right? I feel like this is you've got a great mountain to climb here. You've got a lot of progress, a lot of things that you want to do, but it's hard to do when somebody is just kind of nipping at your heels or pulling on you or like grabbing onto your leg, and then you've got this extra weight that you're trying to drag up the hill. So I feel like for the sake of your own success, your own path, your own goals, your own ascension, you've got to shake this energy off of you, whatever it takes, But with the Five of Wands, again, we're not using more effort than is necessary. We're going to do things just right. Okay, just enough to be crystal clear and, very, very certain. I'm also getting the feeling with this Devil card again that I'm getting this kind of alcohol thing. I don't know who the drinker is in your life, but there's something going on with that. Yeah, there's somebody that maybe overindulges in alcohol, and that's not making anything any better. With the Devil card too, I almost wonder if this is a situation that's kind of making you like want to drink. You know what I mean? Let's not do that. Let's do something about this situation before it gets to that point where we just kind of give up and we just try to drown our sorrows. Because then it's like, well, nothing's going to change and we've surrendered, we've given up. We don't want to surrender to the devil in that way, right? It also makes me kind of feel that there is a lot of love here with this person, but the two of you are rivals in some way. If it is a mother-in-law, makes sense, If it's a coworker, the rivalry is going to be there, right? Because maybe the two of you are kind of in a similar position, and there's this idea of climbing the ladder and promotions and kind of who's going to get the raise or whatever. Even if that's not overt. Because again, it feels like somebody's just kind of coming in and chit-chatting rearranging things, and it almost kind of feels like, are they trying to sabotage you or something, you know? So I feel like there's this growing suspicion about them. Like they're not just here being friendly and they're just like overstaying their welcome. No, they're up to something treacherous. Don't go down that road, because we can speculate all day and all night about what their ulterior motives may be. Okay, but we're looking at them like they're kind of the enemy now, and it's starting to really change how we feel about that person. Because they started out with a lot of love. This was someone we liked, we enjoy, but we just need them to stop doing what they're doing, you know, in our space. And the longer this continues, the more we start to think that they're really the enemy, that they're up to no good, that they have some sort of, you know, clandestine agenda here. But let's not go down that road. Yeah. The one thing we do have is that Four of Cups. To me, the Four of Cups really is kind of that surrendering. This is kind of like we're lost on the ocean, we're in the storm, on the sea, and we're treading water, we're trying to fight the waves, and we just give up. And we just let the sea take us, right? Let's not do that either. Again, that might have something to do with the imbibing. But in general, I think it's kind of a heart that is not willing to fight anymore. We've got to keep that fire energy going. We've got to stoke that fire up. And, you know, I can see that there is this growing frustration. Now, that growing frustration can lead in a lot of ways, right? It could lead to this devil energy that we talked about. It could lead to us just saying the heck with it and surrendering. Or it could lead to us really taking the right road, making the right decision and taking this next step. You know, getting this situation resolved so that we can continue on with our work, continue on with our journey. Now, this, the Queen of Cups here, I think represents that other person. I do feel like they may be slightly older than you. They may be a water sign person. They may be someone that drinks a little bit, right? But I feel like they mean well, you know? Because I know we got here with this paranoia with the devil card, thinking that they're up to something sneaky, right? No, I think that they just have a real problem expressing what they want, expressing who they are. See, the Queen of Cups is behind that veil. They're not allowing their true intentions to really get out to you, so they come off as being kind of pushy or kind of annoying or kind of imposing, or a little too familiar. But I feel like they mean well. So I wonder about that mystery card now. If we are going to get some air energy, if it is being suggested by Spirit that you approach this person directly. Yeah. Let's take a look. It's either going to be the Tower or it's going to be some air energy. Let's see. If you have a prediction, I want you to put it down in the comments. Let's see what we've got. Oh, it's the Judgment. It's a major arcana. Judgment, rebirth, reawakening, baptism by fire, trial by fire. This is kind of the, there is a decision here to be made. And what I like to say about this card is that it is kind of a doorway of fire, right? And when we see this card, I always say that we've got to choose to walk through this door. And then when we do, we shut and lock the door, right? And that's kind of, it's kind of weird, right? Because it's kind of literal in this case. Maybe you really just need to shut the door and lock the door and not allow this person in. You know, set some boundaries. Set some rules. And they may not like them, they may not understand them, and you need to figure out a way to say it in a way that is clear and concise, crystal clear, right? Remember the Eight of Wands. Crystal clear, but also upholds your integrity. Like, we're not going to just be mean, right? And so this is kind of like, look, we need to set some boundaries here. I got to get some work done. So between the hours of, let's say 9:15 and 5 p.m., I gotta shut and lock my door because I really got to focus on my work, you know. So maybe we'll meet up for lunch or something like that. And if it's more of the family, dynamic, that's a little bit trickier. Okay, we may have to talk to the spouse to figure out a way to, like, hey, when are they going back home? When are they leaving? or to at least set some ground rules, right? But it really is about the establishment of boundaries. And those boundaries, again, it's the door that's shut and locked. These are my office hours. Don't come knocking outside of those hours. I'm not gonna tolerate that. Okay, maybe use different words, right? Have a little bit more tact and a little bit more compassion, I think, is wise. But this is really, I think, supposed to be a wake-up call for you. Because the longer this continues, the worse it's going to be for you, and the more it's going to delay your progress, your spiritual progress, your life progress, your work progress, whatever you're doing. It's going to take longer if we're dealing with this situation, and this is a situation that we need to change, and we can change. This is your domain. Again, it's your house, it's your cubicle, your office, whatever it is. It's your house, it's your castle. Yeah. So it's really time for us to see what's going on too. I mean, I think that maybe we see this going on and we try to convince ourselves like, oh, it's only temporary. They mean well. It's okay. I really don't mind. We say all these things as excuses because we just don't want to get involved. We don't want to have to do anything because then we're in this kind of conflict, right? 5 of Wands, the first card that came out, 5 of Wands, conflict. Sometimes we need to have a little bit of conflict in order for something to get resolved. But we have to make sure we do it in a peaceful and compassionate way, which I know is not always easy. Yeah. What is easy is finding the extended reading. You can click up here. You can click down below. New readings for Pisces every Thursday and Sunday, but I'm here every day. You can come see me again tomorrow. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It does not cost you anything. And leave a comment for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. If you haven't yet, go check out my wife's tea leaf reading channel. She's over at Ula Tea Leaf Readings. That's ULA Tea Leaf Readings. She does marvelous work over there. She might actually have some other perspectives or other insights into this situation for you. Okay. Anyway, Pisces, I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.